Hi, this is Denise Matthew. Hope you're doing well. Back again for another week of the transits. Well, we've got a lot of things happening in the world right now, and I think that pretty much everybody's feeling the energy pretty heavy duty. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, and I think that because we have so many planets going through all the splenic gates, I think it's really sort of activating a lot of stuff in the world. And I think that if we look at sort of everything in a nutshell, you're looking at the 2034, which is transiting, and that's the environment we're all living in. We think about the 2034, you're always going to be a manifesting generator, but you are also going to be a generator if we balance it on to just that perspective. As soon as we're talking about a generator, we're also looking at this concept of what is the theme of a generator. Well, the theme of a generator is frustration. And the theme of a generator is also this idea of a stair step progress, we could say. So you're basically kind of trying to build yourself up to mastery. And eventually you get to mastery and then you go to the next level. And that's kind of what it's like. But sometimes we don't want to do that and we get frustrated. And that's the whole point. It's this frustration of not getting where you want to be. And then boom, you kind of jump the ship and go somewhere else. Now, the potential is that a lot of times we'll jump the ship and we don't necessarily have anywhere else to go, or we think it's better, but maybe it's a lateral move. And maybe we would have gotten that prize that we wanted to get like not very long in the future. But instead of doing that, we just want to jump. And this is the energy that I feel is really around the world right now, and that we're wanting to quit. We're wanting to have something new. We're wanting to be rewarded. And with Mercury sort of transiting in the gate 32 and has been really making its pass over the gate 32, we're also feeling this idea of, I'm not getting the rewards. Everybody else seems to be getting what they're getting. And here I am working hard and nothing seems to be happening. So I think we're in a bit of a whirlwind of energy and this concept of not feeling like we're being appreciated, not feeling like we're getting what we really feel that we should be getting based on the work. And I mean, I'd like to say that there's this magic moment that we'd all know that everything's going to just open up and everything that you've been working for will just kind of manifest. But that's what we all want. We want things yesterday. We want it to happen. And that's not happening right now. You add into the mix that we have Mars, and Mars has been in the gate 18, and Mars is about perfection. And Mars is about calling out patterns that are not correct. Mars is about calling out things that are not correct. So if you look at the idea of gate 32 and you're saying, well, I'm working really hard and I'm not getting the results I really want, and there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that pattern. There's something incorrect, and it seems other people are getting what they want. And the sun in the gate 18, and that's one more perspective that we're looking at and saying, okay, the sun here is telling me about the standards as well. It's kind of amping up Mars's message and saying, okay, things are not to my standards. Things don't look the way they look. I want differences. I want changes. I want a better something. We have this thing about standards, and the standards are something that we have from the time we're born. We grow up in a household, we grow up in an environment, and that environment sets the standards for the rest of our life. And that is very common. That is part of growing up. And I mean, it's usually the first 7 years. So we all have a certain level of standards and values. And this is how this works in the world. We set our reality right now against the standards that we've had or we felt are correct. And that's relationships, that's jobs, that's anything that we do. So we have that. And then we have the earth that is in the gate 8, in the gate 17. And it's like opinions. Well, and now the thing about opinions is they're not always fully formed. There is some logic to it. But then again, we get to this point where we just have an opinion. We've formed it. We may not have the support to it, but we feel like this is, where we need to go. I need to improve this. I need to improve that. I need to improve the other thing. And then you have opinions. A lot of people have opinions and what they think needs to be improved in the world. And you know what? There's a lot of opinions that are just kind of basically just blowing hot air. There's no value to them. An opinion is nothing unless it's got something that's sort of building it to have some kind of concrete version, because eventually it has to become something practical. So we have a lot of this energy that is kind of spinning us up into kind of this whirlwind, like I said. And how do we get out of it? Well, as we go through all these splenic gates, remember that the spleen is something that can blow up these feelings of anxiety or fear or whatever. It can blow it up. It's like this. The spleen is something that comes in the moment, give you like a quick hit, and it'll say, okay, there's danger here. So you're walking down the street and it says danger. And what happens is you trip over a pebble, but you don't actually fall. You just basically kind of right yourself and you keep walking. Well, the spleen is giving you a danger signal. It didn't say you're going to break your leg. It just said danger. So remember that that's the thing about the spleen. It has this kind of this real quick hit that tells you, you know what, something's going to happen. Something intuitively, whatever. You have to remember, this is something that could be instinctive. So it only gives you a part of the picture. It doesn't give you the whole picture. So it could be something as simple as tripping over a pebble and you right yourself and you keep walking and nothing ever happened. Or it could be something else. So that's the whole thing, is like when we get sort of hooked into these splenic fears or the splenic themes, and we kind of go to the like worst case scenario immediately, because that's what we do as humans. We always look at the worst case scenario. But think about it. It could be something unrelated completely to what you're actually expecting to happen. And if that's the biggest message that we can take for the week, the most important thing is to understand that, yes, you may be getting a lot of intuition. You may be getting a lot of intuitive hits, and maybe it's telling you things that are scary. But remember, the world will unfold the way it's going to, and we only get little blips. So in other words, if it says you're going to trip and you trip over a pebble, then you can actually look at that and go, okay, it told me I was going to trip. I was really scared, but now I realize that it wasn't actually what I really thought it was. It was true. Absolutely. It was true. You actually did have, a little trip, but it didn't mean that it was the end of the world. And I think that if we can look at the energy and realize that even if it feels like the world is coming in on us, or the walls are coming in on us, sometimes just unhooking from that and saying, okay, let life show me the truth. Because I have this intuition. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, but I have a perception and a way of reading it that may not be exactly the full picture. So that is, like, I think the biggest key for us this week and going forward in the next couple of weeks is to really look at this idea of, yes, I am getting hits. Yes, I do have intuition, but what is it truly saying? And the only way I really know what it's saying is by waiting to see what actually shows up in my reality. So what does it all mean? How can we work with it? Like I said, awareness is key. We can watch ourselves. We can look at ourselves. We can look at other people. We can see the expression of these energies play out. And when we do, we can step back and go, okay, I see this. And so do I want to get hooked into this drama, or do I want to kind of pull myself out and maybe just kind of watch for a little while and see how it plays out? Because that's what the difference is between knowing your human design, knowing the transits, and knowing what the planets are doing, as opposed to the rest of the world who might be going around completely reacting to this energy. Maybe somebody's ready for a promotion and they jump ship and they go to a new job, and then they start at something that, they were almost ready to get to that next level. But yet, because of this energy, this power and charisma, and this, like, pure integrative circuit energy of the 3420, they just go, no, I'm just not going to wait. I can't do it anymore. We have all this frustration. We want to jump. We want to go to a new job. And suddenly it's Mercury retrograde. And it doesn't mean you can't do new things. It doesn't mean you're not meant to, go and start new things and launch new projects. But what it does say is that, expect the unexpected, expect things not to exactly go as planned, because Mercury is not functioning in the way it usually does. It's functioning in a different way. So as long as you're open to what you get and are okay with that, then you're okay. So that's one thing to think about. We also have a time to think about all the things that we want to improve in our life. And especially with the gate 32, like where Mercury is in the gate 32 right now, we can look at the things that we've been doing in our career. We can look at the things that we've been doing to kind of move ourselves forward in life and say, okay, what is working? What isn't working? And how can I recalibrate? And how can I look at it in a way that I can get the rewards that I want? What am I doing all the time that just doesn't serve me? Am I being not who I normally am? Am I trying to be an expression of somebody who's successful, or am I being an expression of who I am? And ultimately, as soon as we start to try and emulate somebody else or try and be somebody who we're not, or try and, even if it's good habits, as soon as they feel foreign to us, if it is part of something that we can go with and say, yeah, that feels good, it's a change, and I know that it's good for me, and I'm going to get more and more in tune with it, well, that's fine. Then we move on, and we change those things. But if we're looking at people and say, well, they're successful, then I'm going to do that. You want to be a writer, and everybody's writing a certain type of fiction, and but that's not your standard. That's not what you normally would write. You have different stories that you want to tell, and yet you go in and you do the type of fiction that's popular, and it doesn't fly the way you want it to, because it's not authentically coming from you. Yes, the writing might be good. Yes, it might be a good story, and maybe it will actually get out there, but it's not fully you, because you've sort of stepped away from who you are and gone to another place because you want to have things be successful. And that is something that a lot of us will do. We have this concept of feeling that, well, maybe that's where success will come. Maybe they don't want me as I am, and maybe if I do this, that, or the other thing, then I will be accepted. With that, it's just like, okay, write the best story of your life, whatever that is. And if people like it, they will. And if they won't, if they don't, then that's fine, because you've actually put the energy into it. You've actually put your heart and soul within this energy. And at the end of the day, expressing who you are and being exactly who you are is one of the most difficult things we can do, but it's also one of the most rewarding things, because when people accept you, when you are out there walking your path and you're completely authentically who you are, and people go, yeah, I like you, or they want to hang out with you, or whatever. You don't have to change a darn thing about you. You are there, and you're fully who you are. And I think that is the thing that's going to get us through this energy. And this energy is going to kind of be rocking us for a while. It's going to be right into November when Mars finishes up. But we know that the Gate 43 is about sort of far-reaching ideas, things that have never been done before, and kind of thinking out of the box in a lot of ways. And in a lot of times we might have these ideas floating around in our head, but we actually can't express them because we're not exactly sure how to articulate it. Sometimes we'll just blurt it out and people will go, well, what does that even mean? And then other times we'll be invited, or the aura will tell people that we're ready to share. And that's what this energy is about. When it does happen, then it becomes this kind of epiphany moment where people kind of get what you're trying to do. They get what you want to bring into the world, and they're pretty impressed with it. And it's like this concept of, I always like to use Steve Jobs, because, when Apple was something that people were not sure of, or, the whole MacBook and all that kind of stuff, they didn't know what he was talking about. But then when the time was right, this idea, nothing is stronger than an idea whose time has come, by Victor Hugo wrote that quote. And that's the truth. And so, maybe it's not the time for you to have these maybe incredible ideas about things that you want to do for, Venusian things, like luxurious things that you want to bring to improve your life, or to make you feel good, or something you want to do in a relationship, something innovative, something brand new that you just nobody has thought about before. Maybe you want to, start a new business that is very kind of out there, in that it's never been done before, or a new way of making money, or a lot of different things, and people are not ready for it. So this is where we have to kind of hold back and understand that when the timing is right, we'll be asked for what we have to give. And that's the whole key with this, is it's all about timing, to know that when the timing is correct, then people will be open for what we have to say. And this is also just the beginning of a process. This is just an idea that we want to get to the throat, because when we get energy to the throat, we know that there's a potential for manifestation. But also, we also know that anything that comes from above the throat is something that doesn't have any motor. So in other words, it takes more time to bring it into the real world. It takes more time to manifest it. So we have these important ideas. And again, speaking them is one step in the right direction. And if you can understand that it's going to take time, and even if the Gate 32, like Mercury in the Gate 32, is pushing you to get things done, and it kind of have it, get the improvement, get the rewards, get the abundance, then let's step back and say, no, I need time to sort of process this and decide where I'm going to go with that. And that's kind of what we're looking at with Venus there. Ours is actually going to be working with the Gate 48. It really does talk to this idea of this kind of getting the information that you need, getting the depth that you need to kind of move forward with what you need. And this is all logical energy. So it makes sense that it's all about patterns. The Gate 18 is like Raru, who talked about this being, it's like drops of need for improvements, you could say, like this needs to be improved, that needs to be improved, and you're dropping it in the well, which is the gate 48, to the point where a solution finally comes out. So you have the amount of depth that you need to find the solution to the pattern that needs to be fixed or whatever, and or improved or whatever it is. The hardest thing about the gate 48 and the whole channel of talent is this idea that you have this talent, and unless you're being called out for your talent, or people are saying, oh, you're good at this or whatever, you're really kind of just flailing, and you're just waiting for somebody to say that you're talented, because you've been working, or sometimes you'll be feeling that you're not talented because you've actually been building up whatever, and you've been building up all your skills, and you just haven't really had that sort of break where people actually have recognized it or something like that. This is, again, mastery takes time, and it's something that you repeat over and over and over again. This is learning how to play the piano, And the other thing about the gate 48 is it can be about just collecting information, just collecting any kind of information, but it's not actually bringing you a solution, but it's just something that kind of feeds that depth that you need. Again, that can keep you in this point of where you don't want to move forward. You feel like you don't have enough information. And that's where we need to kind of say to ourselves, no, I do have enough information. And now it's the time to actually move forward. And with that said, I really hope you guys have a good week, and I will be back again next week. And until then, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.